Let me tell you something, folks. There are moments in professional wrestling that you simply cannot predict. Moments that come out of nowhere, that shake the entire landscape, that make you grab your phone and text every single person you know and say, "Did you just see that?" Monday Night Raw just gave us one of those moments. And if you were not watching last night, do not worry, because I am about to walk you through every single second of what happened, and trust me, by the end of this video, your jaw is going to be on the floor. So sit back, lock in, and do not touch that scroll button, because what I am about to tell you changes everything going forward. Now, let us set the stage for you. If you have been following the storylines over the past few weeks, you already know that things have been building to something massive. The tension, the confrontations, the silent stares across the locker room, all of it has been pointing toward one inevitable collision. And last night on Raw, that collision finally happened. But here is the thing, it did not happen the way anyone expected. Not the fans in the arena. Not the commentators. Not even the people backstage who think they know everything that is going on. Nobody saw this coming. And that is exactly what makes LA Knight one of the most dangerous men in professional wrestling right now. Let me take you back to how the night started. The atmosphere in the arena was electric from the very first bell. You could feel it in the air, that buzzing energy that only happens when the crowd knows something special is about to go down. And the crowd was loud. We are talking loud. The kind of loud that gives you chills just listening to it through your screen. People were on their feet, signs were everywhere, and there was this collective anticipation that something historic was about to unfold. And then the music hit. Now, if you have ever been in an arena when LA Knight's theme starts playing, you know exactly what happens. The entire building erupts. It is not just cheering, it is a full-on explosion of energy. People are jumping out of their seats, phones are out, cameras are rolling, and there is this wave of pure electricity that just takes over the entire room. LA Knight walks out onto that ramp, and immediately, the whole vibe shifts. This is a man who commands attention the moment he steps into the light. He does not have to say a word. His presence alone tells you that the night just got a whole lot more interesting. But last night was different. You could see it the second he stepped out. There was something in his eyes. Something colder. Something more focused than usual. This was not the LA Knight who comes out there to play the crowd and have a good time. This was the LA Knight who had a mission. And everyone in that building could feel it. Now, here is where we need to talk about the bigger picture, because this was not just some random appearance. This was a calculated return. LA Knight had been away. He had been off television for a stretch of time, and when a guy like that disappears, people start talking. Fans start speculating. Social media goes absolutely crazy with theories about what is happening, where he is, what he is planning. And the whole time, the build-up was simmering in the background, because everyone knew everyone that when LA Knight came back, it was not going to be quiet. It was going to be loud. It was going to be violent. And it was going to send a message. And boy, did he send a message last night. So let us get into it. The night was already underway when things started to shift. There had been a segment earlier in the show that set up a confrontation, and the tension was already at a 10 before LA Knight even showed his face. The crowd was buzzing because they could sense it. You know how sometimes in wrestling, the audience picks up on something before it even happens? That energy was absolutely present last night. People were looking toward that curtain, leaning forward in their seats, and you could hear whispers rippling through the arena like a current. And then it happened. LA Knight walked out. No big entrance. No flashy pyrotechnics this time. Just him, stepping through that curtain with purpose, walking down that ramp like he owned the entire building. The crowd erupted, and he did not even acknowledge them at first. His eyes were locked forward. Focused. Locked in on exactly one thing, the ring. And more specifically, the people in it. Now, the reaction backstage was immediate. You could tell from the way the camera cut to the locker room area that nobody back there was surprised, but everyone was on high alert. When LA Knight is in that kind of mood, when he has that look in his eyes, you do not mess around. You pay attention. You get out of the way. Because he is not there to talk. He is there to act. And act he did. What happened next was one of the most shocking moments of the entire night. LA Knight did not waste time. He did not play games. He stepped into that ring, and within seconds, the atmosphere completely changed. The energy shifted from excitement to something heavier, something with real weight and real consequences. This was a confrontation that had been building for weeks, and now, finally, it was coming to a head. The crowd was on the edge of their seats. You could hear a pin drop in between the roars. And then LA Knight opened his mouth. Now, when LA Knight talks, people listen. This is a man who has one of the sharpest, most commanding verbal presences in all of professional wrestling. He does not ramble. He does not waste words. Every single sentence is delivered with intention, and last night, every single word landed like a punch. He looked right into that ring and made it crystal clear he was not there to negotiate. He was not there to make peace. He was there to let everyone know exactly where he stood, and more importantly, exactly what was coming next. The crowd was going absolutely wild, chanting his name, feeding off that energy, and LA Knight fed right back into it. This was a masterclass in command. Pure, unfiltered dominance of the moment. But here is where the night took its biggest turn, because LA Knight was not done. Not even close. The confrontation in the ring was just the appetizer. The main course came later, and it came in the form of one of the most brutal, most impactful attacks we have seen on Raw in a long time. LA Knight made his way into a situation involving one of the other major storylines on the show, and what he did completely blindsided everyone. We are talking about a moment that will be talked about for weeks. A moment that completely reshapes the landscape of Monday Night Raw. And it was savage. Now, I want to paint this picture for you, because the way it unfolded was genuinely cinematic. Think about those moments in the best action movies where the hero walks into a room and everything just stops. Everyone freezes. The music swells. And then something explosive happens. That is exactly what this felt like. LA Knight walked into that situation with complete confidence, complete control, and then he executed one of the most vicious, most calculated attacks you will see in a long time. The impact was immediate. The crowd gasped. Then they erupted. And the person on the receiving end of that attack? They were absolutely destroyed. We are talking about real damage here, folks. Real consequences. This was not a scripted back and forth where both guys are laughing about it backstage 10 minutes later. This was LA Knight making a statement. A big, loud, unmistakable statement that echoed through the entire building and will ripple through the entire roster going forward. And the way he did it, that is what makes it even more devastating. LA Knight did not need a weapon. He did not need any help. He did the whole thing by himself, with his bare hands, and he did it with the kind of calm, cold precision that tells you this man has been planning this for a long time. This was not impulsive. This was calculated. This was a chess move from someone who was always 3 steps ahead. The arena was absolutely unhinged after it happened. Fans were on their feet, screaming, cheering, pointing and reacting like they had just witnessed something historic. And in a lot of ways, they had. Because what LA Knight did last night did not just hurt one person. It changed the entire dynamic of the show. It shifted the power. It put everyone on notice. Now, let us talk about what this means going forward, because this is where it gets really interesting. LA Knight returning with that kind of intensity, that kind of aggression, that kind of purpose, it is going to force everyone else on that roster to reassess. When a guy like that is back and operating at that level, nothing stays the same. Rivalries shift. Alliances get tested. People who thought they were safe suddenly realize they are not. And the guy who took the brunt of that attack last night? His entire storyline just got flipped on its head. What he was building toward, the momentum he had been gaining over the past several weeks, all of it just got derailed in the most dramatic fashion possible. And the worst part is, he saw it coming and could not do a single thing about it. That is the kind of power move that defines a superstar. And LA Knight just reminded everyone exactly why he is one of the most compelling figures in professional wrestling right now. Think about how the fans in that building felt in that moment. Some of them were shocked. Some of them were fired up. Some of them were already looking ahead, wondering what happens next, wondering how the roster is going to respond, wondering if anyone is going to step up and answer what LA Knight did. That is the kind of storytelling that makes professional wrestling so addictive. Every action has a reaction. Every move has consequences. And last night, LA Knight set off a chain reaction that is going to play out over the coming weeks in the most unpredictable ways. And let us be real for a second. One of the things that makes LA Knight so compelling as a performer is the way he makes you feel something. Whether you love him or you love to hate him, you cannot look away. He has that rare quality that only the very best in this business possess, the ability to grab the audience by the collar and refuse to let go. Last night was the perfect example of that. From the moment he appeared to the moment he left that ring, LA Knight owned every single second. The crowd was eating out of his hand, and he knew it. He played it perfectly. Now, there are going to be a lot of reactions coming in the days ahead. A lot of people are going to be talking about this. Social media is already on fire with people breaking down every single detail of what happened, speculating about what comes next, and sharing their reactions. And honestly, that is exactly what a moment like this is supposed to do. It is supposed to spark conversation. It is supposed to make people passionate. It is supposed to make you want to tune in next week and see what happens. And trust me, what happens next week is going to be just as intense. Because LA Knight has made his presence known. He has drawn the line in the sand. And now, the entire roster has to decide, are you going to stand on the other side of that line, or are you going to get out of the way? Either way, the fallout from last night is going to be absolutely massive. But for now, in this exact moment, let us just appreciate what we witnessed. Because moments like this are rare. Moments where one man steps into that ring and completely takes over, completely dominates the narrative, and completely shifts the trajectory of the show. Those do not happen every week. They happen when someone is operating at the absolute peak of their abilities. And LA Knight was at that peak last night. No question. So here is what we know for sure. LA Knight is back. He is dangerous. He is focused. And he has made it very clear that he is not done making waves. The road ahead is going to be filled with confrontations, battles, and moments that rival or maybe even top what we saw last night. And if you think last night was the climax of this story, you are going to be very, very wrong. This is only the beginning. Now, if you have made it this far in this video, I need you to do something for me right now. Smash that like button. Seriously, hit it. If this video gave you even 1 second of excitement, 1 second of that feeling you get when you watch something you know is going to be talked about for a while, then show some love. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already, because we cover every single major moment, every single twist, every single piece of action from professional wrestling, and we do it in a way that brings the story to life. And drop a comment below, tell me what you thought about LA Knight's return. Tell me who you think is going to respond. Tell me if you think this is the start of something bigger. I want to hear from you. The story is far from over, folks. But last night, LA Knight reminded the world exactly who he is. And that is a message that is not going anywhere anytime soon. Until next time, stay locked in. Stay ready. Because in professional wrestling, the next big moment is always just around the corner. Dash.